औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। वेलकम बैक नाज़रीन। हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं रिज़वाना करीम से और बड़ी अच्छी गुफ्तगू हो रही है। इनका पूरा बैकग्राउंड हमें पता चल रहा है कि कहाँ से मोटिवेशन मिली है, किस किस्म की ये खातून हैं। तो आए फिर से मिलते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच रिज़वाना। अच्छा रिज़वाना, वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट योर बैकग्राउंड। पाकिस्तान से आप किस तरह आए, किस तरह शादी हो गई और यहाँ आप आए, माशाल्लाह 2 बच्चे भी हैं आपके। एंड यू नो योर जर्नी फ्रॉम अ बिजनेस टू potential civil servant to MP to a member of parliament and now BBC का भी आपने discuss किया था। अच्छा, so all of that aside, ठीक है, which is actually phenomenal life experiences. How did this home cook start? I mean, what sort of inspired you to do this? Because home cook, first of all, आप पहले ये बताएं कि आपके business का concept क्या है? What is it exactly that you do?
So when I did the show on BBC, this just occurred to me. This just came to me that homemade food is actually so different than, okay, eating out in a restaurant is a completely different experience. You go out, sit down, have chit chat, sit down with your friends. You can't beat that experience. But homemade food is something which is quite distinctive, quite different. And we should have a concept of homemade food in the market. Somehow we should have that inclusive of where we can actually enjoy different cuisines. So for example, if somebody is from Turkey, I can go to a Turkish restaurant, but how I would feel that have the authentic Turkish food flavors, only a homemade food, a lady cooking that food at home can give me that.
And they are very different. And they are very
different flavors.
The whole experience of actually going out and sitting in a restaurant is very different to actually having homemade food.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The authenticity is not there.
I mean, even Indian curry or Pakistani curry,
yes,
it is very different. I mean, जब आप बाहर खाना खाते हैं, उनके मसाले और होते हैं, उनकी हर चीज़ और होती है. But when you're actually cooking it yourself or you're doing it, it is different.
It's completely different.
A lot of people
That's
there.
How homemade food, how you remember your mum's food.
Yeah.
You will never taste that sort of food in any restaurant. So how we can actually have that flavors and authenticity and how we can actually make it accessible, basically.
Okay.
So that something came up to me, but there were so many challenges. At that time, I don't know how we can actually make it legalized. I mean, really, can somebody from home cook food? I mean, how would that cover the legal side of it, whether something is permissible or not? So I need to call up the councils. Believe it or not, I was actually cooking homemade food myself without actually starting up any business. I mean, it was back in my mind, the idea, the concept was there, that this is what I want to do, but I wanted to actually be on the ground myself first and have a taste of how it would feel if I was the chef and I was cooking the food. How would that? So I made my leaflets, I put my ads on the Facebook, different platforms, and then I started getting the orders. In 6 months' time, I made about, I don't know, £2,500. Just by here and there, small little orders when people would just say, I want this, I want this, I want. And it was actually quite a nice experience because people would love the concept. They said, yeah, we would love it if we have more choice of more cuisines available. So for example, Turkish, Greek or different cuisines, not just Indian, Pakistani, like different.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it came to me that, yes, I think it's time now. I've seen it, I've tried it, I've tested it. I need to now work on it, how I actually can go about it.
So basically you were cooking yourself.
Yeah.
Home. There's one thing that you did actually sort of kind of touch on was the health and safety aspect of things.
Yes.
Because how are you going to do this? You said you were going to ring up councils, find out your health and safety ka kya ho sakta hai. What is the outcome of that?
So when I rang up a council, I said, look, I'm home-based, I don't have a restaurant, but I want to sell food from home. She said, absolutely, fantastic, you can do that. You just have to register your address with us. You have to tell us that how occasionally you want to cook. And also you have to have something like level 2 hygiene.
Okay, so level 2 hygiene is like a qualification? It's just...
Qualification, it cost me, what, £12 to get my certificate.
Okay, and you have to go to a college or you have to...
No, I just did that. I just did that from home. I actually did that for my BBC cooking show. So it was a 4-hour course where I had to actually watch some videos and then do some questionnaire, and then passing mark was something 80%. So I knew what I was doing. So it was very simple, straightforward. I just went online, did my course, watched the video, passed the questionnaire, and then so all these...
और ये कोई भी कर सकता है?
Anyone.
Like, is there a certain sort of level of education you need for this?
No. Anyone can pass that course.
Who can read and write?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right,
It's common sense questions. For example, one thing that I didn't know before I did the course was that you're never supposed to wash raw chicken. It actually adds more, you're actually making it more risky for your family and for yourself. You're actually washing the chicken. Chicken should go straight in the pot from the bag. So, things like that.
I'm sorry, but I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually quite, really? Because हम लोग तो मुर्गी को साफ करके फिर डालते हैं.
Yeah, it was part of the course. Yes, obviously, bits and bobs if you want to take off, like, pieces of, sometimes,
but you're not supposed to wash raw
you're
chicken.
You're not supposed to wash it, yes. So it was part of the course which I learned. I never did that myself. So these things are quite basic things which I think everyone should know anyway, regardless, because you're cooking for your family, cooking for your children, cooking for your husband, friends, and you should know these basic things. So where your meat should be in the fridge, where vegetables should be, how you should store it, what should be the temperature of your freezer, things like that. It's quite basic, common sense of it, part of it. Once you've done that course and you've told the council then does inspection in your kitchen.
So they actually come round?
They come round.
And do they charge for that?
No.
Okay, so they come round, they make an appointment, they come round, check you. What do they check for?
They check for hygiene.
Okay.
What's your hygiene
to
like?
To make sure your kitchen's safe.
Absolutely. And I personally got 5-star hygiene for my kitchen because I remember, like I told you, I was cooking myself first before registering anybody on business. And it was quite straightforward, no problems at all. They just want to check what cleaner you use, how you clean your worktops, where you cut your meat, how you store your meat, etc., things like that.
It's very basic.
Very, very basic. Once that was done, when you go to the restaurant and you've got that sticker on their window that says the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you check what rating they have. So that's basically the rating that council gives you.
All right, okay, so it's really as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And then once you have that, so our vetting process is quite simple and straightforward. We just want to make sure the people who are actually cooking, they've registered with the council. So council is aware they're cooking from home, they're running a business from home. And also they've passed the vetting process as in doing the courses.
We'll get to that part. We'll get to that part, okay. So I just want to go into the sort of, and then once you've got this, you can start cooking and you can start okay. And then obviously you went ahead and started this business off where you started something on a larger scale rather than just having yourself. Like you said, you wanted, other cuisines as well, like Turkish and Lebanese and Italian and so on and so forth. So you started offering that. So how did that concept come about? What was the background of that? From what I'm thinking कि 13 साल की उम्र में आपने आलू टिक्की से शुरू किया.
Yes. You can say that.
And now you're running a food business. Do you know what I mean? And you're doing other cuisines as well. So what I want to try and get at is कि अब वो concept किस तरह शुरू हुआ, वो किस तरह आपने किया. What made you think of that? How did the idea come up? Because you've got an app as well, haven't you? And it's on the website as well.
So this was the beginning of it. I just wanted to drive everything myself.
Good.
The aim was to bring lots of people on board and encourage them to start cooking and generate some sort of income for them. So for them to come on board and start cooking, because this is not about me. Now this is about thousands of people living in London who I'm actually providing an opportunity to start selling food.
So what you're basically technically doing is, and there are lots of people out there that actually do cook and possibly, कि मैं इसके लिए बना देती हूँ, उसके लिए बना देती हूँ. But the concept के जाके leafleting करनी और लोगों के साथ ताल्लुकात बनाने. So what you've done is you've basically given everyone a launch pad, really. Technically.
Yes.
So you've done a website, you've made an app, okay? So as far as them leafleting and all that sort of stuff, वो eliminate हो जाता है and they can concentrate on just making the food. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. Well, once the app was built, it was a very, very basic app. Obviously, nothing on the level of Uber Eats or delivery kind of level. I was running the business on my own, on very limited resources, very limited finances. As you can imagine, running an IT sort of business in a huge market in a city like London.
It's very competitive.
It's a very, very competitive business to be in. And the concept was that I want people to join. I wanted to see what I get as a feedback from them, what they think of the business. Do they really want to support it or not? And if they do, then how I would support them in return. So people came on board, people joined, people called them. I mean, it was kind of, I was on the call from morning till in the evening, talking to people, because the vetting process was all manual. So by the time 6 months, in 6 months period, I had 4,600 dishes on the app, which I manually uploaded them.
Sorry, 4,600
dishes on the app, which I manually uploaded them myself.
Okay.
Because the IT side of the business was quite simple, quite basic.
I mean, a startup business is like that, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
आपने, your limited resources हैं.
Yeah.
और आपने जो भी problems हैं, जो भी है, you have to self-manage everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so right, that still sounds a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of dishes. I mean, that's combined. We've had about 50 ladies. I mean, I would say about 40 ladies and about 10 gentlemen who actually signed up as chefs, and they were on board. And at that time, I was thinking, now this is the time. Now we need to grow. You know, there's a lot of interest out there. There's people who want to sell.
Just to come back on the concept. So the concept is कि आप एक ज़रिया दे रही हैं ये हमारी जितनी भी housewives हैं या house husbands हैं या people, men and women, जो cooking का शौक रखते हैं और they can make an income out of this. कि आप खाना बनाएं लोगों के लिए इस ऐप पे डालें and people will start ordering and kind of like a mini. Technically, what you're doing is your business is your business, but you're actually giving hundreds and thousands of people an opportunity to actually have their own business.
Absolutely, it is their business.
How phenomenal is
branding? Is their branding? Is their business? Is their logos?
How phenomenal is that?
Absolutely. So I'm there to support them because I know that this is my passion. I love cooking myself. It's a hobby.
Well, obviously, BBC a semi-finalist, so I mean,
and for me to see them grow and see them making some money. I mean, one of the examples, one lady, Sangeeta, she's a lovely lady. She lives in Reading. She does South Indian food. Okay. In 1 month, she joined in 2021, and in November 2021 she joined. By December 2021, her 1 month income was 1,800. And that's after paying taxes, and that was incredible.
And that's just from sitting at home.
Just from sitting at home.
And just basically doing this and making food. And do they have to deliver the food themselves as well, or?
Well, at that time we didn't have any third-party delivery service, so her husband was managing deliveries. But now we've incorporated a third-party delivery service as well.
Okay, so
anybody who can't deliver, they can actually use delivery service. So it's step by step. I mean, it's taken time, but going in the right direction. So there is a lot of things that happen, kind of when the business was progressing, business was going forward. I will talk about that in a minute. So Sangeeta, I went to her because I wanted to interview her. I wanted to put her interview on the social media. I wanted to see how she did and how she feels about it. And I could never forget, I'm sitting just how we both sitting, and I'm just sort of asking her, Sangeeta, what do you think of me giving you the opportunity of running your own business? And she said, all I can say, Rizwana, for me, you're my fairy godmother.
Really? Okay.
I respect you for that, what you've done for me, and I cannot thank you enough.
That must have been very motivational.
And that was quite emotional. Obviously, it was something like somebody who had no job, she loved cooking, and she recognized that passion in herself, and I just gave her a little nudge, a little
an opportunity.
Push. Absolutely.
But more so because when we started this conversation, you did say I want to help people.
Yes, absolutely.
And what a way to help all of these sort of men and women who are actually you start your own business.
Yes.
And we're providing an application, an app where you can actually download it.
Yeah.
And register. And literally ready, steady, cook.
Absolutely.
That's basically what it is.
That's what it is.
And how you've actually managed to make everything a lot easier as well, in terms of you've got the delivery service, you've got this and you've got that. Okay, right, okay. So so the business has been set up. It's phenomenal for our community. I really do believe that it is a phenomenal thing for our community. and sort of giving everybody this opportunity. So that part, is brilliant. Okay, but there must have been so many hurdles in the way as well. I mean, you make it sound very easy कि मैंने ये किया, फिर ये किया, फिर ये किया, but actually इतना कुछ हुआ होगा बीच में.
Of course. I mean,
tell me a little bit about your journey there as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you must have had ups and downs.
Of
and
course.
What kept you motivated? What was the thing in that actually kept you going, really?
So one thing I really honestly truly believe in, that failure should not stop you from trying.
Yeah.
So failure should be something motivating you more to do better, to do more. And I've always had that, sort of mindset. I've never felt pushed back by anything that happened in the wrong way or negative. But then again, things have happened in the business. When I originally started, I was the only person in my family who actually went into business.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually quite...
First person. Now I have few family members who've actually gone into the business.
By the way, was there any objection? Kya kar rahi ho? Why don't you go to a government job? Why don't you work in a multinational? Wasn't there a bit of that as well?
Of course. My mother-in-law was very supportive. Bless her.
Was your father? Not your father. Is your husband a businessman? Was he?
No. He isn't. He's been working, and I think he's the one who said to me, I really don't know, because it's not my thing. I don't think I can run a business, but if it's your passion, go ahead and do it. And because I was the only person in the family who wanted to do it, I think it was kind of quite inspiring for the other cousins and other nephews and nieces to look up to me as well, especially going through my darker times.
So you've actually become an inspiration.
Yes.
For your family, and now hopefully, inshallah, for the community as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where people can actually take that plunge.
I remember that I had a massive loss of £5,000. That was my first biggest loss.
Yeah, and at the start
at the very beginning stage of the business,
that must have been
I think it's putting together IT team was the biggest challenge for me. And when I lost, I was thinking, really, that's going to be quite a big blow, because the family would say, we supported you, we did everything. I don't think it's in you. You probably can't do it, and that's what I'm going to get. And I think that's what I was getting, sort of, negative feedback.
Okay, so you were getting negative feedback.
But I did not stop. I believed. I think if you believe in a vision, then you can actually pass any hurdles. You can cross anything comes in your way, and you really have to truly believe in yourself first of all. If anybody tells you that you're not good enough, don't believe in that.
Don't listen to them.
You do not listen to them. You have to believe in yourself.
Okay, so you had a bit of a problem, lost money, but sort of you gained, obviously. So obviously you went in with some investors as well. I mean, to actually. I think that's where your salesmanship must have come into sort of play as well. Because you're pretty much a jack of all trades, aren't you? You've done a bit of this, a bit of that, bit of this, so you can actually draw experience from all sorts of life experiences. So how did that come about? Why did you need investment? Where did you get the money from?
Every business needs some sort of investment at some stage.
Yeah.
Especially in my business, I think finance, and also not just the finance, I think having contacts on board was very, very vital at this stage. But
when you say contacts, what do you mean contacts?
In terms of people who can actually come on board and they can help you with the expertise, with their experience.
Add value to your business.
Add value to the business. It's not something. It's not always about money that can add value to the business. It's always about expertise and experiences of other people who can come on board. And if they share the same vision as you, I think you have to have right people on board as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge fan of Dragon's Den. I used to watch Dragon's Den, every day, 1 or 2 episodes.
Well, maybe one day you'll be there.
And
as one of the dragons.
This has really happened. So I met somebody on LinkedIn. So he's quite known entrepreneur, very, very credible business person, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, okay.
And we met on LinkedIn, and he was very keen to have a chat. And I was honored that he's shown some interest. So we arranged a meeting. We set a spot to meet up. It was Ramadan in 2022, and Now, I had never met him in person. So we went, and I was quite nervous, nerves were getting on me as well. But we sat down as we are on the table, and it was proper Dragon's Den experience. He did give me a very good grilling.
Did he give you a proper grilling?
Yes, it was.
Good.
And we went through the figures and numbers. I knew my numbers. I knew what I was talking about. He knew what his vision is and everything. We shared some ideas. But then again, we were 50 minutes into the meeting, and I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, you've lost it. You've lost the dragon.
I think, I've lost the dragon. I think it's not going to happen. And then, so my body language wasn't showing, like I'm put off, or I don't think it's going to happen. But then again, after 10 minutes, he offered basically to become 50% partners in the business. It wasn't so shocking, but it was to some extent. I think it was a bit of a shock.
And was that the investor you were looking for? So it was just.
I think. For me, having somebody like Muhammad Ali on board, a credible person, his track record has been amazing. I wouldn't have given it second thoughts.
Really? Okay.
I came prepared that if he did make me an offer, I would take it.
Okay. Well, that's a.
So I accepted the offer, and when I was walking away after the meeting had ended, I couldn't really believe that it had happened. It really took me some time to.
In the last 2 years, you've actually taken your business from pretty much here to here, and so what's the vision?
Now, the vision is now that we've had many meetings. Obviously, we've agreed on some things, that how we can take this business to a very basic level, to a high-end level, to provide the opportunities to other people to come on board, and how we can actually make the businesses, make them some sort of credibility and make money as well. And this is something we're working on now. Our vetting process is obviously quite strict. We're going to stick to our vetting process as part of
that's law.
Yeah. This is something that we want to keep as really vital part of the business. But then again, we've got a massive interest. We've got 500 plus people who've actually shown interest to become chefs on the platform.
Yeah. So you're obviously because your business is growing, your services have actually grown as well. So one part is rather where you can actually order homemade food.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first part.
Yeah.
But then you've also got another part in the business which you've actually kind of started as well.
Yes, we did.
Where you can actually have a chef come over to your house, and he can cook.
Yes.
Whatever and it could be Italian, it could be any cuisine you want.
Yes.
So Pakistani, Indian, South Indian, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
You come over and he will cook for you. And it's how phenomenal that you can actually have an app and you can say, right, okay, so how does that work? I mean, so you have the app.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually want you to show us as well.
Of course.
And in terms of how the app works as well. So you have an app.
Yeah.
You press chef. How does that work?
That's it. So when you enter the app, basically, when you enter your address, we locate where you are. So we provide the chefs who are closer, nearby, cooking near you.
Okay, so closest to you.
On-demand cooking is what you choose. Like you choose somebody, for example, somebody's a mile away from you, and you check what they cook. You can just simply add it in the basket, order the food.
Do you have, so when you register for your business, so for instance, if I'm a chef and I'm in Birmingham, but I don't mind traveling around the country.
Yeah.
Right? Is it up to the chef where he can actually say, I'm happy to travel?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're making on-demand food, I think it's worth keeping you within 5 to 10 miles radius, because on-demand orders aren't huge orders. I mean, you might get an order for 60, 70 pounds, 80, 90 pounds, or maybe 20, 21, 30 pounds.
Okay.
So this is the range of the orders. But if you are actually private chef, or you are actually taking a catering order, you might be taking a catering order for 500 people. Or 400 people, or you might be cooking in for 50 pounds per head in somebody's house.
Some people have parties and 20, 30 people coming into their house.
So that could be, you choose your distance in that case. So you might be willing to travel 50 miles, 100 miles, 80 miles, entirely up to the chef. But on demand, I think the maximum we would suggest is about 20 miles. Okay. Don't go outside 20 miles radius. But, it's fantastic. I've got one lady, she lives in Acton, West London. She's really popular in her area. People love her food. Her food is called biryanis, and she does different types of biryanis and karahis, and her food is actually amazing. It's really, really nice food, and
well,
she does.
Please, no more biryani. You're already making us extremely, extremely hungry.
So she does up to 20 miles. Her daughter help her with the deliveries, her husband and she sometimes use third-party delivery service. So this is something concept, but if anyone is interested, they can always book an appointment with us and we can take them through exactly how to book and how to register their business and how we can help them.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Rizwana. Really, really appreciate. I am going to have a quick chat with your colleagues as well. But just to let everyone know, the business is called Home Cook. Now, cook is spelled slightly different, so H-O-M-E, and then it's K-O-O-C. So
it's
cook
the other way around.
spelled the other way around, which is actually quite interesting. I quite like that. So आप app download करें, register if you want to start your own business. Absolutely, without a doubt. आप ये ज़रूर app load करें, download करें और upload करें, जो भी कहते हैं इसको. And then obviously register and become an owner of your own business. Thank you so much, Rizwana. Really, really appreciate talking to you.
Most welcome.
Thank you so much कि आपने हमें background भी बताया अपना, आपने ये भी बताया कि आपने किस तरह शुरू किया है, and how phenomenal is it कि आपने ये पूरी community के लिए आप इतना कुछ कर रही हैं. Really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, thank you. नाज़रीन, हमारा शो अब ख़त्म हो गया है. अगले हफ्ते एक नए गेस्ट के साथ आएंगे. मेरी तरफ से अलविदा.